Alright, so I started about 5 minutes ago. I took the nut off. Gathered up the tools. And we're going to drive back to the spot. Yeah, we're going to drive to the spot without the nut. The reason we want to do that is because we want the axle to have a little give in there, because we want it to not be stuck. And I wouldn't recommend doing it very far. I'm only doing like a 1/10 of a mile. It's right around the corner. Just going behind the building. I'm finally going to get to do this. I'm going to be doing the bearing. And hopefully be able to do it in a fairly timely manner. Be the last of the failed Amazon bearings. And I apologize I didn't get into the video of putting those bearings in. It was during the hottest period that Indiana had had, and apparently for years. And it was the first time doing it. My camera didn't do what it's supposed to do and all that kind of stuff. So here I am. Alright, that quick. So I'm going to film as much as I can. I'll publish whatever I can, but let's get this done. It's literally 40 degrees cooler today than it was the first time I did this, so keep our fingers crossed. And one other thing, when you do this, put it in neutral from the get-go. When you pull up, after you get your axle nut out and you pull up, leave it in neutral. And turn it off as much as you can, roll your windows down. And it would be a good idea to disconnect your battery. I'm not doing that. But one of the things you will need and it will help you later, will be the jack. Either floor jack and that jack. We'll get to that later. The other thing, make sure you set your brake. Alright, so that's what you want to see. You want to see that thing be able to move. Once you get the wheel off, put it under there, just like that. That way nothing moves around. See that? Very bad. Very, very bad. Another little tip. This bolt will thread right into this. That's for breaking the rotors loose. Don't be slamming into them with sledgehammers and stuff. That bolt threads right into these, and you only need one. Mine's been broke loose because I've done these bearings now twice. So, okay, tip. Alright, now you want to get your caliper out of the way. The hooks out of bungee straps work really nice. Just put it right through there. And hang it out of the way. Now, pads. Yeah. Make sure you get them. Take all your parts and lay them in one place so you don't lose them. Especially when you're working in an environment like this, you drop a nut, you're good luck finding it. I pulled the rubbers off so they don't get down in the dirt or anything else like that. Alright, so see that? Very bad. Alright, so this is where it gets tricky. See, getting that knuckle out of there. A friend of mine's been struggling with this on his Sonic, so we're gonna see if I can position this. This is not easy, mind you. Now, because you don't want to hit the threads, you want to put this on there. You don't want it to get in to the thread lockers, but you want it to be on the threads. It's frustrating. Alright, see there? Now, you will put some upward pressure on it. It means pulling up a little bit, then smack it. Just like it. Take your nut off, and you're loose. Yeah. Man, that's bad. That's just absolutely horrible. Alright. Impact socket. That's the hub, the inner part right here, that's the hub. That's this, we gotta save that. So, we gotta knock that out. Normally, if you had a press, you'd just press it out. I don't know what this is. And I'm gonna use this post to work on. I can't do this with both hands. I mean, I gotta use both hands to do this. So, you'll see the concept here. I'll see if I can set the camera up somewhere. Looks like you all will see it. So, kind of prop it up. I'm not wearing steel toes, so I don't want to flop on my toes. But as y'all can see, it destroys the bearing taking it apart. Something I forgot to mention This is a pain in the ass to get out. You notice it does not have the holes for the snap ring. You have to use these and grab it like this, and it's definitely an art. It doesn't use these type that I was told in all the other videos from all the Filipinos that did it. It takes this type on both of mine, and I've not replaced them. I've put them back in and out a couple times. You just got to have a lot of patience. Alright, so this is a lower ball joint puller. I'm going to push the bearing out. This cup goes on the outside of the housing and allow the bearing to go to the inside. I've got that, which is not exactly pushing on the outer race. It's just pushing on everything. Alright, so let's see. Trying to get as much live video of me doing stuff as possible. So, use my impact tight. Alright, you can see it's super tight right now, but you just gotta be patient with it. I'm gonna flip it this way. It is going, believe it or not. Yeah, now it's getting tight again, so and there it is. Alright. Race is off. Took the grinder. Hundreds of videos on this. You just grind a little bit off and you use your punch, catch on that little edge right there, and it knocks right off. It's probably one of the least hard things. Now we just gotta start putting everything back together. Here's the new bearing. There we go. You'll see how I'm putting that bearing in there. You don't have to have press. You just want to hit the outer parts of the bearing. So I'm using this to hit on. It's almost in. Notice I'm not getting back and swinging at it hard, I'm tapping it. If I hit my finger, I probably wouldn't even feel it. Is that good for the bearing press? I don't see any damage to it, so. Just kind of just tap it all the way around. See, and you can see where the groove was. So yeah, that thing, it fits right on the outer race. Alright, here we go, back together. Here's a new hub. Now we gotta get this back together. This lower ball joint. This is where the other jack will come in if it's necessary. I'm hoping it won't be. Yep, we're spinning. Now, fixes this. Upward pressure. I don't know if y'all saw that. But basically, this right here put enough force press down to pinch that in place. So it is back installed on that. Now slide the axle back in there. For anybody curious, these are not an adjustment. They're just straight bolt on. You can buy bolts with a camber in it that can make it an adjustment, but if everything is okay on your car, that is just a bolt on, bolt off. So when you disconnect everything, you can just put it right back together. Alright, since everything's going back together and you're getting ready to put the wheel on, especially since you touched the brakes and suspension, double check everything. Make sure everything is tight. If you don't, you do this enough, you will regret it at some point. So double check everything. In this case, you got a tie rod, lower ball joint, brake line, 2 bolts for the strut, 2 bolts for your brake bracket, and then 2 bolts for the actual caliper itself. Make sure all those are tight. Make sure everything's in place. Now, just for the record, I'm not putting this back in. I'm just not. There's reasons it should be there. I don't care. I'm not putting it back in. Anywho, that's everything. Make sure your brake line's not twisted. Make sure everything is there. And then you're ready to put the wheel back on. Now I put this back on. I'm not going to drive it without that because that keeps the bearing together. Just on the hub and everything. So do not, when it's a good bearing, drive without that nut. There we go. Finished product. And 130 foot-pounds for that. And that's done. Alright, and give you all a time frame. It is now 11:30. And I gotta clean up everything. But as long as it dries out good, it's done. Alright guys, we're gonna go take a test drive now. Do this together, see what we hear. In theory, it should be dead silent. Let's see. Gotta watch it backing out of this place. Everybody in Indiana seems to think they're in a race car when they're driving around. So far, so good. I'm gonna watch the lady walking across the road here with her phone. Oh, it is so quiet. Oh, I'm very happy. And of course, I'm behind a golf cart. I don't know who decided these things were a thing to be putting on the road. Oh, this thing is so quiet. I'll actually be able to hear my passengers now. I like this. And before, it was so loud. Even at 15 miles an hour, yeah, it was loud. I mean, you roll the windows down, you didn't hear it because of the air rush, but I can feel it smooth in the steering wheel too. Because it's like the steering is tight again. Before it had slop in it, because that wheel would actually, even though this is straight and that's turned a little bit, just that little bit throws it off, and you hit a bump and the wheel wobbles, and it changes how the car drives. So far so good. I'm happy. Now just note, I used a lot of brute force, so to speak, with this by hammering things out, but keep in mind I wouldn't hit anything that hard. I was raising the hammer up that much to tap the bearing in, and I was doing it on a press tool ring. I wasn't doing it on the actual hub. Now, if you've got a press available to you, that's ideal, because it's smoother. It's, that smooth force is a lot nicer to the bearing. But you can get pretty rough with the bearing as long as you're hitting it in the right spots and it's supported in the right spots. Like when you're putting that hub in, you got to make sure that inner race is supported, because if you're putting any force and that bearing's not supported, you're damaging it, period. That's just what you're doing. Now putting the bearing in, tapping in like that, again, I was using a bearing press race thing. It was pushing on the outer race. Ideally you want to use a press. I didn't. I don't have a press. I don't even know where a press is right now. I mean, I could Harbor Freight maybe. So what I do is what I do, and this is how I did it. And for those who don't have the tools, this is the shade tree mechanic way. You've got to be gentle. No ifs, ands, or buts. Gotta be gentle. If you're not gentle, you'll break it. If you don't use the proper technique, no matter whether you're pressing them in or tapping them in like I did. Notice I said tap, not beat. Tap them in. That is key. Using the proper technique. If you don't use the right technique, you're going to break things. Now, these bearings aren't real expensive for this car, but they're a pain in the butt to do. So when you got things that's a pain in the butt, the last thing you want to do is do things 2 and 3 times and 4 times like I did. Now, why did I do it 4 times? It's because I tried to chintz out and get Amazon bearings. I don't even know I could not find a brand name on them things nowhere. I did go to Rock Auto. I got the economy bearings. They were $22 a piece plus shipping. And that's what I have in the car right now. And the one on the driver's side I replaced 2 weeks ago. The one on the passenger side I just replaced. And before that, I just only done it 2 weeks before that. The noise from the one bearing happened immediately. The driver's side one. I mean, I put it in and immediately it started having noises. Now, I put nearly 8,000 miles on this car with the bad bearings. So when you start hearing noise, just know you do have some mileage you can put on there. Not recommended, but the wheel is not going to fall off. It's going to put extra wear on your rotor. It's going to cause steering technique issues, I guess you could say, because of the slop. But it just is what it is. I mean, you got to get your bearings from a good source. Even if you buy them cheap, like I bought them from Rock Auto, $22 a piece. That's cheap. You can get them $150 a piece. They're driver bearings, which means you drive a lot. I drive a lot. I mean, I do 5,000 miles a month. So yeah, I drive. This car is a worker. It is my money maker. And I either had to learn how to do it myself or pay somebody to do it. If I paid somebody to do this, it's roughly $1,600 to do it, both sides. $800 a side. And I just did it. It was 10:45 when I pulled away from my parking spot, and it was 11:30 when I pulled away from where I was working on it. So, you know what, an hour and 45 minutes? No. 10:45 to 11:30, that's 45 minutes. The first time I did this, it took me almost 4 hours, and I thought it was going to kill me. It was the hottest day of the year, and just everything. So, you got to do what you do and be prepared for anything. All the steps that I showed you in this, it's kind of critical. It's cheaper to buy just the bearing and grind the race off. If you can get the hubs like I did the first time, that's fine. But getting the hubs is so unimportant. It's more critical to get a good bearing than find something with the hubs. So just take that heat, you know, do what you got to do. You know, keep on working on them. Keep your own car on the road if you can. If you can't, you know, find a good local mechanic like myself, or, you know, like Ray's Auto Clinic, you know, down there in Florida. You know, there's a few other shops around, you know, but, you know, take it to somebody who knows what they're doing, or at least can give you a good warning of what could go wrong. You know, it's so critical, because if you take it to a regular shop, that $1,600 job could have went just as badly. And it's because the source of parts is so much garbage right now. Everybody wants to lie to you, and you're going to get junk parts when you paid for premium. It's sad. Hopefully things are going to start turning around, start doing better, but that's just not necessarily going to be the case. So, anyway, that's all I know. Hopefully, this is the last time I have to change the bearings on this car. I mean, I've probably got maybe a good 50,000 miles left in this car before it's time to turn it over. You know, so we'll see how things go. Who knows? Maybe I'll hit 300,000 miles. I doubt it. It's a 3-cylinder CVT, and it's the first gen Jatco CVT. I got a little technique I drive with it, and that's a whole nother story. But the thing of it is this is a good little work car. It's on the Honda Civic platform. It's a Mitsubishi Mirage. The 2019 is very similar to the Chevy Sonic, the Chevy Tracker. No, not the Tracker. The Geo Metro. There's a whole bunch of little cars that use the same design. The Mitsubishi Mirage hatchback all uses the same stuff, and the bearings are all super cheap. Some people, you can buy the whole hub. We just knock the lower ball joint out, take it off the strut, and, you know, take the tie rod out, and you're good. Just replace everything. But this car, that's just not available, so I had to reuse everything. But anyway, my buddy Tony, hopefully he can see something on this, be useful. The technique is scary if you don't know what's coming. You know, you get in here thinking, I'm going to take my little Amazon tool set and actually get in here and do something. That's not going to happen. You got to have a few tools and or know how to work with the stuff you got. You can't just never touched a car before and jump in this and think it's going to happen. Me knowing what I was doing, it took me. I knew the technique behind the bearing, of saving the bearing, but everything was, you know, like the ABS sensors. Both of those got broken. Am I replacing them? No, I'm not replacing them. I don't give two flips about the ABS system. I don't even like the ABS system. I don't like them. You know, so I'm just leaving them disconnected. Got both sensors removed, and my little light bulb that's on the dash is covered up so I don't see it. So anyway, this is what I'm doing. If you do what I do and something goes wrong, you know, make sure that you take it to a competent mechanic to fix it correctly. Because what I do might work for me, and just like from one side to the other, things went differently for both sides. I used a hub puller on the first one. The second one, that hub puller broke. I stripped it completely out. You know, so things can go wrong using the same exact technique. You know, so if you have any problems, make sure you have a backup plan to be able to get it to a mechanic, or have nowadays a mechanic come to you, or daddy, or whoever is available to you. So far so good. I'm happy. It's quiet. It's just like the old car I know and love. So this is BK Stanley with B Stanley Garage signing out. Have a good day.